I'm Jakwob and we're in my studio in London and I'm going to deconstruct my remix of Sigma, Nobody to Love. So this is a remix I've probably not even finished really, but I guess that's kind of cool, seeing where it's at right now. This is for Sigma and I think they like built the track as something to play out in a club, and it's now their single and it's a huge record. And they asked me to remix it the other day, and I got straight on that. And I think the traditional way I kind of went around a remix was listen to it over and over again, and spend a couple of days understanding what the original was like, so I didn't end up just recreating that in a different form, and just understanding where maybe the vocal could fit, and then sit down and kind of make a beat and work from there. But in this case, it's a very, very straight up hook and kind of piano riff, so I'll play the vocal.
Just before you do, what parts did you get sent? Did you get sent all the parts? Or?
So I got sent it always differs. Sometimes I'll get, if it's say a pop track, I could get all the parts, all the stems for the record, and like down to dry vocals, which I'd have to comp myself, and that's not what you want to get sent. But in this case, like, it was awesome. I just got sent the wet top line, and I got sent the piano as well. And those are kind of the two main elements of the track, so it didn't really need anything else. And it was an opportunity to really do something very different to the original. And this is the vocal.
I know you're tired of loving with nobody to love. Nobody, so just grab somebody, no leaving this party.
And it's like a pretty affected vocal. I think it's like a replay from the original. So there's absolutely no way I could do something chilled out or kind of, you know, quite mellow with it. It's a very energetic vocal.
Nobody, I know you're tired.
Really bright as well. But as soon as I heard the piano, I knew I couldn't leave it as it was. I don't think I've got the original piano in here, but you'll know if you've heard the original. And this is the piano chopped up. I just did it in Reason 7 now. You can just go into an audio file and kind of save it, bounce it down as a Rex file, I think, and you can just do it there. Yeah, you bounce Rex. So I just imported it in and bounced it down to a Rex file, and it automatically cut each chord up. And then I just built a little riff using that. Nothing too drastically different to the original, but pretty kind of obvious house piano riff. But and that's what drove me to go in a very, very different direction with this remix. It was kind of a straight up obvious build, and and piano embellishment in that original kind of sampled loop. So I'll just play it from about here.
I know you're tired of loving with nobody to love. Nobody.
So we've got strings coming in. Which I've taken all the bottom end out of, just so they sit kind of as if they were in the original, or I don't know, just very soft.
Tired of loving with nobody to love. Nobody.
And a little bit of white noise, which is just a sample.
With nobody to love. Nobody. I know you're tired of loving.
And then back to the radical piano, just the preset piano with a few tweaks to make it sound a little bit warmer and wider. And always feel like, I think most of the remixes I've done have had a really organic feel to them. I don't like the idea of using kind of M1 keyboard sounds all the time and like keeping it, yeah, it's got to keep it kind of organic and real and human, and then drop into something completely obscure or heavy and electronic, which we'll get to. So like, so just before it dropped there, I kind of pitched it down with on recycle on the Rex player even, and that was just automating the pitch wheel there. Kind of the idea that going from a traditional dance build up into something you wouldn't necessarily expect, and that's it going out of control there, and then that's where the rest of the vocal ended up. This other little sample that's in there that I got sent just appears every now and again, and this beat kind of with remixes, it's kind of an opportunity to do obviously absolutely anything you want. So I had this beat, and the idea for doing a beat like this in my head for quite a while, so I knew that this was an opportunity to do that because it would sit. I wasn't going to. The original record kind of goes off and follows the vocal clearly, and like that drives it. Whereas this can kind of switch up and do what it wants. So it was an opportunity to me to actually get that beat in there and experiment with it. There's and it kind of switches up, so it does that kind of heavy bass bit, which is the bass is simply. So that was. I've always wanted to get a gun cock and shot into a record, so I'm pretty happy to have got that into this. So yeah, we've got that in there, and then the bass is, I think it's a sample bass. Well, it's called Fat Double Bass. That sounds about right. And it is in an old drum and bass. Oh, the Jungle Warfare stuff, which I've used heavily actually. It's got some wicked bass presets in it. And I've EQ'd it, barely EQ'd it. I think that was just to bring out some of the top end. So when you listen to it on a smaller set of speakers or something, if the sub doesn't come through, you've still got the gritty top end. And using the same bass, I took out all the bottom end and used it for this little synth, this little glitchy synth thing that goes on. And that's just got tons of reverb on it. And then we go on to, so, and so you'll have there's these little kind of chopped up vocal bits which are just from, so, and you've got all these bits. Also want to always get one of these heys in a track as well. These like, this dude shouting hey. And I managed to do that again. This was a first for lots of things. That's a bit rude, that bit as well. That's another thing I wanted to get in a track. But I don't know if that was from, yeah, that was from the beginning of this little sample here. So all round, it's a pretty naughty track. It's got gunshots, women, and yeah, not really my style usually, but I guess I was a bit angry when I came up with this this drum loop. But, That is a vocal. This look. Actually, it might be me. Oh no! So I did a bit of. No, that's just a breath. I try and put breaths everywhere and anywhere I can in remixes and production work, just to give it a really human element. I just love it for builds and subtleties in the beat. But also in this drum loop, I recorded a few snare rolls and stuff to kind of give it a bit more body. I just play.
Honey.
So these, I just did them next door, and on my kit, which just gave, they're just really subtle, so I didn't really need to do much to them. Just took all the bottom end out, and they're supposed to kind of sit where the percussion would, and to kind of make it sound again a bit more realistic and a bit more played rather than programmed.
Honey.
And on that vibe of being played and not programmed, there's the kind of snare as well here. Oh no, that's the percussion. Where are we at? I mean, it does sound like it's really delayed. I think there's the impression that it's played with this delay on as well, which is again another preset from the echo. And amazingly, in this session, it's actually pretty well organised. I can play it on the drop. Just got the bass in here. Which I've kind of, I've just brought up all the top end, so you get the kind of the grittiness coming out again on smaller systems. And I kind of mixed the drums and realised they were a bit too bright, and kind of the snare was a bit too harsh, so I've kind of taken that out a little bit on the EQ. And it is very simple. And put a simple filter on there when you kind of come back into the. So once the track's kind of, the main body of the track's happened, it kind of stops again. Oh, something's not happening right there.
Honey.
That's another cool thing about the Rex. You pretty much don't need to ever do anything outside of it. You just, the Rex player's got everything on it you kind of need. So I've just filtered it up with the filter inside it, and essentially builds a little bit more and repeats with a few more elements. So what have we got? Kind of changes up here. I've added in a new bass.
Somebody who live in this party with nobody to love. Nobody. I know you're tired of loving with nobody to love.
Just kind of wanted to capture the straight up dance vibe that you get off the vocal at some point, so I thought this was a nice place to do it just before the second drop. And just add this organ stab, which again is another preset from a 0G, really pretty old school NN19 refill pack actually.
Somebody, don't leave in this party with nobody to love. Nobody.
And because it's not finished, I guess I can say that I actually want to change that clap a little bit because it's a bit harsh sounding, but. And that's kind of just balancing either the group drums or just going in on the clap itself, but just quickly. Yeah, cool.
Honey.